All right, we have Sophie Phillips, head coach Tammi Reiss, and Sophia Vital. A few notes from today's game. Sophie Phillips, now at 200 career three-pointers, is the all-time leader in Rhode Island history and is the fourth Ram, men or women, to have 200 career three-pointers. And Sophia's 14 assists is the third most in a single game. Okay, open up, or actually, Coach, if you want to start with an opening statement.
Well, you know, I always credit St. Louis. It's always an incredibly tough game. They're physical, they're gritty, they're very undisciplined defensively. So you never know what they're gonna do. If they cheat on everything, they double, they're just chaos. And so it makes it pretty difficult to game plan against them. But I thought today, we had one really key was know our game plan and how we're gonna execute. And I think the big one was transition. And I think we had 46 points in transition, not fast break points, transition. Our Phoenix is, if you kick ahead and hit a three, that's transition. It's the most points we've had this year in transition because they're a weak transition defense team. That, number one. Number two was playing inside out. And I think our ability to get the ball in the paint and then hitting those threes really helped because then they really had to guard Honey and Sophie P. So it opened up the paint for Awa and some of our other posts. But just the execution of the game plan offensively. We haven't put it all together offensively, and today we did. That was our best offensive output as a team. Not just shooting the ball, but getting the ball where it needed to go, and in every play we wanted. We got, coming out of timeouts, we made the pass and we got the shot. We've struggled with that in the non-conference. So today, for them to be able to execute that against a very good team, I was really happy. But really happy with our overall team play. And we won this game together as a team. And it was really nice to see.
Sophie, you hit those two early threes. Did you come in today thinking you were going to break the record today?
Well, that was definitely my goal. But I think just doing whatever my team needed me to do was really like my overall goal, which is shooting and making threes. So that's what I obviously tried to do, and I did.
I mean, Sophie, what does it mean to you? 4 years ago to now, you're the first woman in program history to hit 200, total. What does that mean to you?
It definitely means a lot. It was one of my goals this year, breaking the record. But I definitely couldn't have done it without my teammates and my coaches believing in me, especially when I didn't have such a strong start at the beginning of the year. But they all believed in me and told me to keep shooting, and that's like what I do. So I just had to find it, really.
Sophie, when did you start to realize, like, in your career that, like, three-point shooting was kind of your thing? And how does this develop to this moment?
Honestly, like, ever since I was in high school or a little kid, I've always enjoyed shooting. It's always just, I feel like I've kind of made it my identity a little bit just because I enjoy it so much. But just trying to be, like, the best I can be at that skill because, like, that's what my team needs me to do.
Hey, Sophie, you gotta give your dad credit. I heard her dad was a phenomenal shooter, and so, growing up, he kind of instilled that in Soph and Lil, but I got the whole background, and I don't think he gets enough credit, but he really taught her everything she knows.
It is true.
I was going to say, Sophie, true or false, Dad?
Yes, that's very true. He was always shooting in the driveway with me. He even painted a three-point line on our court for me. So, yeah, definitely most of the credit goes to him, I would say.
Regulation, length, all that?
Yes, even though it did go into the grass a bit.
She grew up on a farm.
Coach, against an opponent like St. Francis, last time out you had that big offensive performance, but that was a team that was really kind of struggling in terms of turnovers and defense and all that. How much different is it to kind of get a win against someone like St. Louis and to be able to start, a really tough conference game with a win like this?
I never discredit any school, any team, whether there's great division, NAIA, Division III, Division II, you never do that. So we always say faceless, nameless opponents, but non-conference is different. And so, there's opponents you should be, and St. Francis was one of them, but we focused on us. Can we get better in the process? 1%. Can we start to put it all together because we knew what was coming with St. Louis? And the A10 this year with women, it is a gauntlet. And there's a lot of teams that return a lot. So you're looking at, St. Joe's, and you're looking at Richmond, and you're looking at George Mason, and Duquesne, and Davidson, and St. Louis, So to start the A-10 like this and really piggyback off that last game, we just said stack days. Are we stacking practice days? Are we getting better? Are we in the up climb, or we're down? And it was nice to see another stacked day, 2 wins in a row, And you're quick to know when we had 5 losses in a row. But now we put 2 solid wins of offensive output and good defensive effort today. Now we stack another one. We got Bonnie's next. This one goes in the rearview mirror. Get to work, great practice days, and the climb to keep getting better 1%. And that's the goal with this team, and we've said it. The hardest thing as a coach is to keep them believing. When you lose 5 in a row, it's difficult. And I said this the last press conference, the one thing they do is they show up every day and they give you what they got, and they compete and they believe. And that's all you can ask. And if you keep doing that, eventually things will fall into place. And so far, our last 2 weeks and 2 games, we've been on the upswing. And it started in practice, and now we're seeing the benefits. So really, really proud of, defending the Ryan Center. And we took a couple L's here this year, and starting A-10 play on a strong note against a good St. Louis team, who also gets better as the year goes. They're notorious for starting the year slow. Her non-conference is pretty strong, and then they take off. Same thing. So I think we're all just trying to get better.
Sophia, 14 assists, broke your career high. You just set 9 days ago against St. Francis. What have you worked on this offseason to become one of the premier passes in the A-10?
Just what Coach said. A big thing for me was just taking care of the ball and just trying to get it where it needs to go, like in Sophie P's hands and Honey hands, like whoever has the hot hand, just trying to get the ball where it needs to go. Working on reading the defense and just studying the game, like figuring out where the ball needs to go over the summer.
Sophia, this has got to be one of the best birthday presents you've ever received.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Better than the Christmas pants we gave you?
A little bit better.
Damn.
A little bit better.
Coach, you speak about Honey, career high 27 points. She had 10 rebounds as well. I mean, she had the hot hand right away with Sophie, like right out of the jump. Can you talk about that?
Honey loves offense. Don't let her fool you. Honey loves offense. And so we brought her here. When we saw her on film at San Diego, she wasn't a big scorer, but her smoothness of her jumper, the ability, I said, this kid can shoot. And trying to find someone at a center that could stretch the floor, give us some 3-point shooting, replace Maya and Tennant's offensive output. The thing for Honey was really learning the game and then defense. And so today, we didn't talk about she got player of the game, the chain today, but the kid she went against, number 12 today, is one of the best rebounders in the country. She's in top 10 in the country. And Honey held her to what? And also held her to 2 points. So to watch Honey play a great all-around game, because we know she loves offense, but to finally go and get the defensive stops we needed and box out and do the little things, that's what we're going to need. We're going to need her to be able to stop some of the post players and, the Richmond's post players and St. Joe's post players. She's going to have to be able to guard. So that's what I think as a team and as a coaching staff, we were most proud for Honey today. She played an all-around game.
It seems like the trip to St. Bonaventure is always a pretty tough one in terms of a road trip getting up there. How are you preparing for that this year? I love Bonnie's because it feels like a high school gym. Like, it's a great shooter's gym. I love playing there. Getting there is a problem. So, we've got a little bit of a snafu going up. We're flying commercial, but we're busing back. But hopefully the weather will be good. But again, if you view it that way as a negative, then that's what it is. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play some games up there. When we get up there, we're going to have a great dinner. And it's a great shooter's gym. I love Bonnie's. And our kids, they don't mind traveling. They really don't. They're a fun bunch. And so, it's your perception of what it is, and so we'll make the best of it. I love busing anyway. I'm old school. I'm John Madden. I'd rather be in a motor coach going cross country than flying. That's just how I am. So I don't mind it. And we're going to Bonnie's with the same thing. Stack days, stack wins, and see, let's be able to play on the road now.
Tammy, offensively, any specific changes that you've made recently? Is it pushing the pace a little bit more? What's working offensively?
I think, understanding we're best in when we play fast. We're best in transition. And so if we can get stops defensively and push, the pace, we can really score. And, you know, our goal was every game to get 20 plus points on transition. In the first, like, 8-9 games, we weren't doing that. We were trying to grind it out in the half court. And so we put quicks in, we put some step-up screens in. You saw a girl get rocked today. You know, there's some things we've done to gradually build as we go. And, you know, they like playing fast. They like playing that way. But really, it's just them getting a feel for and a taste of success. And if you run the floor and you do these things, this is what can happen. And we're much better if we can score in transition. As you see today offensively, we don't want to play in the 50s. We want to at least be in the high 60s, low 70s. And if we run, we can do that. If we grind it out in a possession per possession game, makes it really difficult. We're more of a 50s, you know, we've been in the 40s. And so really putting an emphasis and practice on transition and pushing pace and putting some wrinkles in our transition offense.
Hi, Coach. You're starting the game 13-2 run, held them to without a field goal for the first few minutes, then another 10-0 run in the second, held them to 9 points. How important is that the players are that grounded, that focused in the first half of these games?
You know, really, it was defensively. If we could get stops, because that's what triggered our offense early. We got a lot of scores out of transition. Soph got a lot of good looks out of transition. And so if you don't get stops and you let them score, now they set up their press. They set up some things. They couldn't get scores early. I think they got the foul line. They got to the foul line. That's how they got early points, really. And so our defensive intensity, knowing the game plan, we executed our game plan to a T. Held 33 and 32, hardly any threes. Like they're big time shooters now. And then really protected the paint. We golded everybody else, had great help defense, and then limited up to one shot so we could run. And they executed the game plan. That's why we got out early and jumped on it.
Sophia, Coach mentioned, you know, the transition offense and running, and you kind of running point in transition. How important is that for you? How much do you embrace that?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just more fun to play in transition, just getting out and finding my teammates. So that's just how I embrace that. I just like finding my teammates, getting them shots, and it's just a lot of fun for me.
Sophia, you were matched up against one of the conference's best defenders in Kennedy Calhoun, but still you came out with 14 assists. Talk to me about what you saw for a majority of the game in that matchup.
She's a tough defender, but from the jump and film and stuff, we knew that she was going to be like that. So there was a big emphasis on me taking care of the ball and just getting it where it needs to go. And big props to my teammates for hitting shots for me and getting me those 14 assists.
It's a birthday party plan.
A lot of cake, and just being with my family.
Awesome. Any other questions for Coach of the players? Great. Thank you very much. Happy
Thanks
New Year.
everybody for coming
Thank you,
out.
guys.
Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.